Officer Jones was new to the police force, but he wanted to be the best. He shined his badge every morning and made sure his uniform was perfect. He believed in following the rules, and he was eager to catch the bad guys. More than anything, he wanted to make his town a safer place. Every day, he drove around, carefully watching for anyone breaking the law. He paid close attention to every car, every person, and every little detail. He wanted to show his boss and the other officers that he was serious about his job. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was ready for anything. Little did he know, his first big lesson was about to come from the most unexpected person. One sunny afternoon, Officer Jones was driving down Main Street when he spotted an older car. It was a light blue sedan, a bit dusty, and the license plate looked slightly bent. Part of the numbers were hidden behind the bumper. Officer Jones knew that a clear license plate was important, so other cars could be identified easily. He watched the car carefully as it turned onto a side street. He hesitated for a moment. Was it really worth pulling someone over for such a small thing? But then he remembered his duty. Rules were rules, and it was his job to enforce them. He turned on his lights and gently pulled the car over to the side of the road. The light blue sedan slowly rolled to a stop. Officer Jones parked his police car behind it, making sure to leave enough space. He took a deep breath, checked his reflection in the rearview mirror, and got out of the car. He walked toward the driver's side of the sedan, his hand resting on his belt. As he approached, he could see the driver was an elderly man. The man had white hair and wore glasses. He looked a little confused and worried. Officer Jones reminded himself to be polite but firm. He needed to follow procedure, but he also wanted to be respectful. This was, after all, just a traffic stop. Officer Jones leaned down and spoke in a clear, calm voice. "Good afternoon, sir. May I see your driver's license and registration, please?" The elderly man blinked a few times and nodded slowly. He reached into his jacket pocket, his hand shaking slightly. He pulled out a wallet, but then fumbled with it, dropping it onto the floor of the car. "Oh dear," he mumbled, bending down to pick it up. It took him a few tries, and Officer Jones waited patiently. Finally, the man retrieved his wallet and began searching for his license. He seemed very flustered. After what seemed like a long time, the elderly man finally found his driver's license. He handed it to Officer Jones, his hand still trembling slightly. The license was old and worn. The picture was faded, but Officer Jones could still see the man's face. It was definitely him, just much younger. Officer Jones glanced at the name on the license, Robert Johnson. The address was local. He held the license carefully, noticing the small cracks and faded ink. It looked like it had been through a lot. He wondered how long Mr. Johnson had been driving. "Mr. Johnson," Officer Jones began, trying to keep his voice neutral. "Do you know why I pulled you over today?" Mr. Johnson looked confused. "Pulled me over?" "No, officer, I don't think I do." "Was I speeding?" Officer Jones shook his head slightly. "No, sir, not speeding. The reason I pulled you over is because your license plate is partially covered. It's important to keep it visible." He paused, waiting for Mr. Johnson's reaction. He also asked, "Where are you headed today, sir?" He made sure to keep a respectful tone, despite the situation. "Oh, the license plate," Mr. Johnson said slowly. "I must have bumped it. I was just going to the grocery store to pick up a few things for dinner." He pointed down the street. "It's just a little further down." As he spoke, Officer Jones noticed a small, faded sticker on the car's rear bumper. It was easy to miss, but it caught his eye. It was a simple design, an American flag with the words "proudly served" underneath. He squinted to get a better look. He started to wonder if there was more to Mr. Johnson than he initially thought. Officer Jones decided to ask. "Mr. Johnson," he said, his voice softening a little. "Did you serve in the military?" Mr. Johnson seemed surprised by the question. He hesitated for a moment, then nodded slowly. "Yes, Young man, I did. A long time ago. Korea. Officer Jones's heart skipped a beat. Korea. That was a long time ago. He knew that veterans often didn't talk much about their service, but he felt he needed to know more. Thank you for your service, sir, he said sincerely. What branch were you in? He wanted to hear Mr. Johnson's story. Army, Mr. Johnson replied quietly. I was in the Army. Signal Corps. He looked down at his hands, which were now resting in his lap. He seemed a little uncomfortable talking about it. Officer Jones noticed a change in himself too. He wasn't just looking at a driver with a bent license plate anymore. He was looking at a man who had served his country, a man who had likely seen things he couldn't even imagine. He felt a growing sense of respect and a little bit of shame for his initial eagerness to give him a ticket. Something inside him shifted. Officer Jones knew he couldn't just let it go. He had to be sure. He told Mr. Johnson, Sir, if you'll excuse me for just one moment, I need to check something on my computer. He walked back to his police car, leaving Mr. Johnson sitting in his sedan. Inside the car, Officer Jones pulled up the police database. He typed in Robert Johnson's name and birthdate from the license. Then, on a hunch, he added military service to the search criteria. He held his breath and hit enter. He hoped he wasn't overstepping, but something told him this was important. The computer screen flickered, and a moment later, the results appeared. Officer Jones stared in disbelief. The screen showed a detailed military record for a Robert Johnson, born on the same date as the driver's license. But it wasn't just any record. This Robert Johnson was a war hero. He had been awarded the Silver Star, the Bronze Star, and the Purple Heart. He had shown incredible bravery and courage during the Korean War. The citation described acts of heroism that seemed almost unbelievable. Officer Jones felt his face flush with shame. He had almost given a ticket to a real hero. Officer Jones took a deep breath to compose himself. He couldn't believe how wrong he had been. He turned off the computer and got out of the car, walking back towards Mr. Johnson's sedan. His steps were slower now, filled with a newfound sense of humility. He knew he couldn't just pretend nothing had happened. He had to acknowledge his mistake and show Mr. Johnson the respect he deserved. The eager, rule-following officer he was just moments ago was gone, replaced by a young man humbled by the reality of the person he had stopped. He was filled with regret. He approached Mr. Johnson's car and stood tall, straightening his uniform. He looked the elderly man in the eye and spoke with a newfound respect. Mr. Johnson, he said, his voice now full of sincerity, I want to thank you for your service to our country. His whole demeanor had changed. The stern officer was gone, replaced by someone who truly appreciated the sacrifices Mr. Johnson had made. He knew that this traffic stop was no longer about a bent license plate. It was about honoring a hero. He wanted to make sure Mr. Johnson knew that. Mr. Johnson looked up, surprised by the officer's words. A small smile touched his lips. Well, thank you, son, he said softly. It was a long time ago. Officer Jones continued, I know it was. And I understand you were just going to the grocery store. I also noticed your license plate is a little bent. Instead of giving you a ticket, I'd like to help you fix it, if you'll let me. He wanted to show Mr. Johnson that his gratitude was more than just words. He wanted to take action. That's very kind of you, son, Mr. Johnson replied, a bit of the worry fading from his face. I appreciate that. Officer Jones walked to the back of the car and examined the license plate. It was indeed bent, and one of the screws was loose. I think I have a screwdriver in my trunk, he said. Let me see if I can tighten that up for you. He went back to his police car and opened the trunk, rummaging through his tools until he found a Phillips head screwdriver. He returned to Mr. Johnson's car, ready to help. As he worked on the license plate, Officer Jones explained gently, Sir, the reason I stopped you was because your license plate was a little hard to see. It's important for safety, so other drivers and cameras can read it. He tightened the screw, but noticed the plate was still bent. I think I can bend it back into shape a little, he said. He carefully used his hands to straighten the metal, being careful not to damage it further. There, that's a little better. He wanted Mr. Johnson to understand he wasn't just being let off, he was being helped. With the license plate now more secure, Officer Jones stepped back. All done, sir. It's much better now. He paused, then added, if you don't mind me asking, what was it like serving in Korea? Mr. Johnson hesitated for a moment, then a faraway look came into his eyes. It was tough, son, he said quietly. Very tough. But we did what we had to do. He seemed to be transported back in time, remembering the hardships and the camaraderie. Officer Jones listened intently, eager to hear his story. Mr. Johnson shared a few brief stories, tales of bravery and sacrifice that made Officer Jones's heart swell with pride. He spoke of the friends he had lost and the challenges they had overcome. He didn't dwell on the horrors of war, but rather on the bonds of brotherhood that had sustained them. After a few minutes, Mr. Johnson seemed to tire a little. Officer Jones realized he shouldn't keep him any longer. Well, Mr. Johnson, he said, I should let you get to the grocery store. He wanted to leave Mr. Johnson with a good impression. Yes, sir. Just one more thing, Officer Jones said. I'm going to let you off with a warning about the license plate today. Just try to keep it visible, okay? It's for your safety and everyone else's. He handed back Mr. Johnson's driver's license with a respectful nod. He paused, then added with a sincere smile, thank you again for everything you've done for our country, Mr. Johnson. It means more than you know. He hoped Mr. Johnson understood how much he meant that. Mr. Johnson smiled. I will, son. And thank you for your help. He started the engine of his car. As Mr. Johnson drove away, Officer Jones stood by his police car and gave him a crisp salute. It wasn't just a routine gesture, it was a heartfelt expression of respect and gratitude. He watched the light blue sedan until it disappeared down the street. He felt a sense of satisfaction, but also a deep sense of humility. He knew he would never forget this encounter. Back in his patrol car, Officer Jones thought about everything that had just happened. He realized that being a good police officer wasn't just about following rules and giving tickets. It was about understanding people, showing respect, and recognizing the value of every single person in his community. He also realized that first impressions can be very wrong. He had almost judged Mr. Johnson based on his age and his old car, but he had learned that Mr. Johnson was a hero. It was a powerful lesson he wouldn't soon forget. From that day forward, Officer Jones approached every situation with a new perspective. He still followed the rules, but he also made sure to treat everyone with kindness and understanding. He looked beyond appearances and tried to see the person underneath. He shared his story with the other officers at the station, hoping they would learn from his experience. He emphasized the importance of respecting veterans and honoring their service. He wanted to make sure that no one else made the same mistake he almost had. The other officers listened carefully to Officer Jones's story. Some of them had similar experiences, times when they had judged someone too quickly. They all agreed that it was important to remember that everyone has a story, and that respect and compassion should always come first. Officer Jones's story became a reminder to the whole police force. It helped them to be better officers and better people. They learned that sometimes, the best way to serve their community was simply to show kindness and understanding. Officer Jones continued his work with a renewed sense of purpose. He felt proud to wear his uniform, but he also understood the responsibility that came with it. He made an effort to attend community events, to get to know the people he served, and to listen to their concerns. He often thought about Mr. Johnson and wondered how he was doing. He hoped that the small act of kindness he had shown that day had made a difference, not just for Mr. Johnson, but for the whole community. He was a changed officer. Years later, Officer Jones was recognized for his service to the community. He received awards and accolades, but he always remembered the lesson he had learned from Mr. Johnson. He knew that true service wasn't about recognition, but about making a difference in the lives of others. And sometimes, he would see an old light blue sedan driving around town. He would smile, remembering the day he pulled over a hero and learned what it truly meant to be a police officer. He never forgot Mr. Johnson. This story reminds us that even small acts of kindness can have a big impact. A little bit of understanding and respect can change someone's day, or even their life. And it reminds us to always honor those who have served our country, the brave men and women who have sacrificed so much to protect our freedom. Officer Jones's regret turned into a valuable lesson, a lesson that made him a better officer and a better person. And that's a lesson we can all learn from.